Well, I am an idiot, but maybe not that much of an idiot. Welcome to Flynndogg Woodwork. Today, we're not going to be hanging out with Mr. Ventura in the shop, but we are going to be talking about a few items that I just got relating to safety and security. And I think these items are worth talking about. So let's not waste any time and start talking about these items. So this is a little bit of a different video for me, as we're usually talking about tools and tool accessories for woodworking. But in today's video, we're actually going to be talking about a few accessories for your shop that will not only protect the shop itself, but also your health. And obviously, if you're a woodworker, two of the most important things in your life are your shop and your health. And maybe your family.
I'm not so sure about that.
And our first item today is all about health. One of the most important things to have in your shop is clean air. And if we look directly above my outfeed table, I have a large air filtration system that cleans out most of the air in my shop. And I absolutely love that thing. And if you've never had an air filtration system, you'll be really amazed at the dust reduction that you have in your shop. But that guy's a hoss, and probably a little bit too big for my shop. And frankly, it's quite expensive, coming in at just over $800. And I know most of you may not have as large a shop as I do, so you're probably looking for a smaller air filtration system. And this one we're going to take a look at today is perfect for a garage setup, or about 500 square feet. So let's check out this smaller unit and see if it might work for you. So this is the PuriSystems 500 IG air filtration system. Let's check it out. So inside the box itself, you're going to get the air filtration system along with a smaller box with all the accessories and hardware. Now before we dig into the features of this system, I want to preemptively discuss why I chose this system over the Wen system. Now the Wen device is a great alternative and about $100 cheaper, but there's a few reasons why I chose the PuriSystem device over that Wen. First, this is a system that I don't think anybody has covered, so I think it's worth taking a look at. And secondly, it's got a couple of features that that Wen system just doesn't have. So let's dig into this system and see why I chose it over that Wen. So let's first take a look at the accessories and hardware that come with this tool. As you can see, there's some mounting brackets as well as some mounting hooks and mounting screws. This tool also comes with a remote and 2 batteries. Next, let's take a look at the unit itself and go over its physical construction. On one side of the filter, you'll find the control panel and LED display along with the power cord. You'll also find an overload protector as well as the air outlet. On the other side of the unit is where the filters are located. Let's take a look at those. On this side of the unit, you're going to find 2 air filters. If we release the tabs on both sides, you'll find the outer filter, which filters up to 5 microns. On the inside, you're going to find the inner filter, which filters down to 1 micron. Now, both of those filters are not only replaceable, but they're also reusable. By using a simple air hose, you can blow it out in the opposite direction of the airflow to get rid of all that dust. At the top of the unit is where you're going to find your 4 mounting holes. These can be used to attach your mounting hooks and then attach it to your ceiling with the included chain. You'll also notice there's a handle on top so that you can place it in storage or carry it exactly where you want it. And the weight of this is only 25 pounds, so this really makes this a portable air filtration system. Next, let's take a look at that remote and see how we can control this if we decide to mount it to our ceiling. If we look at the remote, you can see it's very simple. It's got an on-off button as well as a speed adjustment. And this filtration system has 3 speeds. It also has a timer and 2 buttons that you can adjust the timer length. Lastly, it's got an ionizer,
which means clean air.
And this would be a great time to discuss why I chose this unit over the Wen. First off, this is a more powerful unit than the Wen. And the Wen is recommended only for a shop up to 400 square feet, and it's got a CFM of 300, 350, and 400. This unit, however, is recommended for a shop up to 500 square feet, and it's got a CFM of 350, 450, and 500. And it's that little bit of extra power that I think is going to make a big difference in the long run. But there's also another feature that I haven't seen on any other system. And that is the ionizer. This is something that will improve your workplace's air quality and get rid of any of those foul smells. And believe me, I've got some.
Was that a fart? I don't know. I can taste it on my tongue.
Now, whether or not you have the same problem is irrelevant. What's really important to me is the portability of this machine. And probably one of the main reasons why I got this model. With its lightweight and handle on top, you can take this with you wherever you want, especially if you're trying to create a clean room if you're doing something like an epoxy pour. Well, that's going to take us through our first safety and security item of the day. Now let's start talking about our second item, which is all about protecting your lungs. So this is one thing that I am really bad about. In fact, when I first started woodworking, I didn't think it was that big a deal. We've all seen the California warnings talking about how bad sawdust is for your lungs, but frankly, those guys over there all smoke pot.
Puff, puff, give. Puff, puff, give.
But those Californians are exactly right. In fact, after woodworking for a while, I began to realize that I was hacking up a lung every time I left my shop. And I know we've already talked about the air filtration system, but we need something a little bit closer to our body. And that's why I think it's important to have a good reusable dust mask, as I've been using disposable ones for years, and once I run out, it could be a month or two before I pick up another package. So I finally found a high quality reusable dust mask that I think's worth checking out. And this mask is the Base Camp Dust Mask. Let's check it out. Now, one of the nice things about this mask is that it's inexpensive. This set comes with one mask that's preloaded with one filter as well as 6 extra filters. And these filters are carbon filters and they're rated N99. And as everybody remembers from COVID, N95 is good enough. So one of the reasons why I really like this mask is that the filters are really easy to change out by twisting the valves on either side of the mask, which is obviously a really important feature, but maybe an even more important feature is a nice, tight, comfortable fit around your face. And that's another reason why I chose this mask. Not only does it have 2 loops that fit directly over your ears, but it also has a Velcro strap on the back. And the elastic and Velcro strap really does give you the ability to have a custom fit with this mask, while still being able to easily breathe through the filter on the inside. And each one of those filters can be actively used anywhere from 25 hours all the way up to 60 hours. And for just under $16, this mask is a no-brainer in my book. Well, our air filtration system and our mask should give us plenty of protection for our lungs. Now let's talk about another protective system that we may want to consider for our shop. Before we do that, however, I ask you to do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment. It really does help out this woodworking channel. Also, for all the items we're taking a look at today, I'll leave links in the description below so that you can go check them out for yourself. I also wanted to announce that I'm continuing to work on my website, www.flynndogwoodwork.com. There you can find fun accessories like this t-shirt and other items, as well as shop updates and tool recommendations. So if you're interested in any of that, please check out my website at www.flynndogwoodwork.com. Now let's move on to our third safety system. So I use a lot of oils in my finishing, as I think they bring out the most natural finish to any wood you're using. But many of these oil-based finishes have a real possibility of spontaneously combusting if they're left in a pile in your shop. And of course, if there's any fire in your shop, you're going to want to know as soon as possible. Not only do you need to be worried about fire in your shop, but during these cold winter months, many of you may need to start thinking about one other item. And that's carbon monoxide. In fact, this entire shop used to be heated by one salamander. And believe it or not, those diesel salamanders kick off a lot of carbon monoxide, especially in a small enclosed area like this one. And because of this, I decided to get our next safety system. This item is the xsense combination smoke and carbon monoxide alarm with Wi-Fi. Let's check it out. Now the main reason I got this is because my workshop, which is in a barn, is completely detached from my house. So I would have no way of knowing if there was any sign of smoke inside my shop. And since this detector is Wi-Fi enabled, it actually sends me a push notification to my phone if there's any issues with carbon monoxide or smoke. And that could give me just enough time to address any issues in my shop and prevent an entire disaster. So obviously this just looks like a normal smoke detector, although it's got a digital readout on the very front. And this gives you the parts per million of carbon monoxide in the air. But not only do you get a digital readout of the parts per million of carbon monoxide in the air, but you also get an auditory alarm. But that's not it. You can also get a push notification on your phone if you set up this detector through Wi-Fi, as well as a visual representation of red, yellow, or green, depending on the readout of this machine. And if I put that battery into the detector, you can hear that auditory alarm along with the red, green, and yellow showing the visual representation of where the system lies. And in order to get the push notification on your phone, all you need to do is to download this app, the xsense Home Security app, and it's free of charge to anybody that uses it. So if you work with a lot of finishing oils in your shop, or you use a salamander in the winter to keep you warm, this could be a valuable tool to keep your shop safe. And for the $37 investment of this item, I think it's worth having. So now let's start to talk about our fourth item, which is also to give you a peace of mind when you're not in your shop. So I live in the country, but frankly, I've got a cousin Bert, and he's got a lot of friends. Huh? And frankly, a lot of his friends are a little unsavory, and there's been a couple of robberies around here in the last couple years. What's that supposed to mean? I don't know, I'm just saying. And I've got a lot of expensive tools in this barn, and I'm not in this barn all the time, so I'd like to ensure that all my tools are safe when I'm not here. So that's when I thought it might be nice to have a camera in the shop to protect it when I'm not there. And that's exactly why I purchased this next item. So this is the Reolink Argus 3 solar powered camera. Let's unbox this and see how it works. So inside these two boxes, you're going to get a variety of different things. In the first box, you're going to get the camera itself along with a power cord, as well as a mounting bracket and mounting strap. In the second box, you're going to get the solar panel, as well as a mounting bracket, a mounting strap, as well as some power cords. So obviously, this setup comes with a solar panel in case you're using the camera in an area where you don't have electricity. However, if you do have electricity, you can actually plug this camera in to know that you have power at all times. And to mount this camera is very simple. All you do is send 2 screws through the base and then screw the camera on top. And the camera has an internal rechargeable battery that connects with the USB-C to USB-A port, so you can simply use one of your phone chargers to plug it right in. But you can also use that solar panel, and it connects in the same way using the USB-C port. You could also use a strap for both the camera and the solar panel if you're attaching it to something like a tree. Once everything's attached and you've connected it to your Wi-Fi, you can view the camera at any time. And this camera is a 4K camera, so you should be able to see any details that you need. So let's say you do have a visitor to your shop that you're not expecting. Well, there's a couple of features with this camera that are pretty neat. First off, this camera has the ability to notice motion in your workshop. In case somebody comes in that you aren't expecting, this thing will automatically trigger an alarm. Not only will the alarm be triggered, but it's also going to start recording all the activity in your shop. And not only does this camera have the ability to record in low light, but it also does infrared. And you can even turn a flashlight on at the very tip of the camera. And once again, you have the ability to get push notifications if the alarm is triggered. So if you watch my iPad and I begin to move around the shop, you'll see that we get a critical notification from Reolink. And that's exactly the type of security that I'm looking for in my shop. Something that lets the intruder know that they're being watched, and then a push notification that lets me know that whatever's happening is being recorded. And that's why I'm super happy to have this extra layer of security in my shop. Our last security and safety feature item that I want to talk about today is something that you probably have in your house, but you may not have one in your workshop. And this is something that I could have used today. As I was coming into my shop and I turned my lights on, I actually tripped a breaker. And having a power surge or power break like that can not only affect things like your computer, but it can also affect things like your tools and your batteries. And that's exactly why I got this next item. Not only is it made by a brand that I've used for years and trust, but it's also a space-saving item. So what is it? Well, let's find out. So this next item is the Dewenwils Power Strip Tower with USB outlets. So if you haven't heard of the brand Dewenwils, they're a cheap and reliable power and power strip brand that are all over Amazon. In fact, the main extension cord that I use all over my shop, especially when recording videos, is this 50-foot retractable power cord. But let's check out this new power strip tower and let me show you why I got it. First off, this power strip has 12 outlets running along the outside of this tower. You'll also notice that this power strip has a very rugged cord, and this thing is long.
That's what she said.
This extensive power cord is approximately 16 feet long, so you should be able to reach any outlet nearby. But let's face it, in today's world, many of our tools are being powered by USB ports, and this thing's got a ton of them. This tower's got 5 to be exact, and each one of these is USB-A ports. So that makes 12 outlets and 5 USB ports, all within a footprint of 4 inches by 4 inches and about 9 inches tall. And lastly, if we look at the top of the tower, you can see there's 2 switches that control both the left-hand side as well as the right-hand side. And I fully intend on using this tower to be the hub to charge all of the batteries that power all of my tools in my shop. And all these outlets, as well as all the batteries that will be attached to those outlets, will be protected by the surge protector that's inside that tower, giving me just a little bit more protection for those expensive batteries. Well, I really appreciate you joining me today. I know this video was a little bit different, going over some security and safety features for your shop. But these are all items that I just got over the last couple of weeks that I thought would be interesting to share. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and leave a comment. It really does help out this woodworking channel. Also, if you haven't already, check out my new website, www.flynndoggwoodwork.com. Until next time, take care as always.